What is the difference between a woman that wants to be a wife versus a woman that just wants a husband?
This is a fine line between wanting to be a wife and being a wife. A lot of women want to be married.
Right.
They say they want to be married, but are they ready and prepared to be married?
Oh, you know what? I think most of us are bred to just want a husband. Whereas to be groomed and trained to be a wife means to understand how to respect masculine energy.
How did you get prepared to be married?
Mm-hmm.
Who groomed you for that? Who
Right.
trained you for that? And I know groom and train is such a terrible word,
Mm-hmm.
but you go to a job and get a job and you'll go to training.
Right.
That's not an issue.
How to truly be inside of your feminine, which means trusting the leadership of your partner, because feminine chooses certainty. Feminine doesn't choose flow, because feminine is flow.
What did I walk in on? What are y'all talking about?
Right? Feminine energy. When we choose to understand that it is our biggest opportunity to seek out the needs of a man without him expressing them. I think a beautiful opportunity for us to empower that man and ride through the storms. I feel like we live in a weak generation.
Borderline bitch.
Where things get hard and people immediately are like, oh, I quit. This is too hard. And that's like, it's never going to hinder you the result you want. If you keep quitting, it's to be groomed as a wife means it's compassion. It's longevity. That's where marriage starts. When you get married, you say, I do, it starts. Whereas other people, it's like when you get married, I made it. No, you didn't make it. You hate that man. You hate that woman. Y'all can't stand each other. You don't care enough to not disrespect each other or call each other out of your own name. You don't care enough to not want to sleep on opposite sides of the bed when there's a problem. You don't care enough to have the hard conversation so that you can move together more powerfully. That's just to have a husband. But when you want to be a wife, things are different, in my opinion.
Yes. I agree 100%. I think that most women, we just want a husband. We want that added on to our life. Is messed up because it gets into the mindset of we want to be all of who we are. And we just want to add him onto my life. We want to do the Beyonce, the 1 + 1 is 2. But in the word, it says that the 2 become 1. So it's like, unless you're willing to give up half of who you are, like it doesn't have to be my way all the time. Because I'm looking at the overall, the bigger picture, the 100%. I'll give up my 50 if it keeps the 100 intact. And I think that once women really grasp at that, then they'll understand the importance and they'll have that longing and that wanting and that desire to be a wife and not just add on a husband.
A lot of men, we don't know the difference. Especially if you didn't grow up in a household where your mom was a wife. You don't know the difference between a woman wanting to just be married or wanting to be a wife, because you don't know the difference. And the difference is how she's approaching it.
Right.
And when a woman tell you some things like, oh, I gotta be done X, Y, Z in the third in order for me to be submissive, that's not conducive of wanting to be a wife.
Yeah, red flag.
When a woman tells you, oh, you gotta marry me first before I show you these traits, that's not conducive of being a wife.
Red flag.
Being submissive is who you are. Being feminine is who you are. That's not something you just put on because of a circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between someone that wants to be married versus want to be a wife, the person that want to be married, they'll assimilate those things to get what they want. That's manipulation.
Yes.
A wife is not going to manipulate you in a negative way. She will manipulate you in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
People get caught up on words like trained, but manipulate, like this cup. I'm manipulating this cup right now. I'm thirsty, so I'm manipulating it to give me a drink. That's a good thing. Now, if I manipulated this cup and poured it on the floor, that's a not so good thing.
Right.
So we get caught up in these words.
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to be a wife instead of be a wife, what you'll do is you'll assimilate the things that a wife would do. Like you'll even cook when you don't like it. Mm-hmm. It's a difference between cooking to get a man and then stop once you get him versus you're gonna cook even though you don't want to, but you're doing it to provide for the family, so that way your man is happy and your family is nourished.
Right.
That's the difference between when
I
a
was
play
just
wife
gonna
and be
say
a
that.
wife.
I was just going to say that. So you took everything I was finna, you just said it. Go ahead.
It is a fine line if you didn't grow up seeing the difference.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a wife. My mom was a wife. I'm talking about, she was probably the first wave of what we call modern women. Y'all took it too far now. I'm talking about the women that didn't have to work, but they decided to work, and their husband didn't feel no type of way about it.
But they still did everything they were supposed to do at the house.
But still did everything. So I'm like, y'all ain't got no excuses, really. Because it's easier now. My mom used to have to cook cornbread and greens and all that. Y'all got air fryers and shit. Y'all ain't even got to sit there and watch the food.
And we don't do that. Well, they don't do that half the time.
So y'all playing with this. A lot of people out here that never had it out here describing how it should be. Y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to stop that.
Yeah.